Good evening, everyone. Here's your KSP advocacy update for March 3rd, Wednesday. Uh, the Senate has just finished their work for the week without actually doing one of the big bills we thought. The House is still going on their last bill. It's a bill with gun policy issues, so it might be a while. So we thought we'd go ahead and get this out to you. So, guys, I'll kind of start with what I saw. We'll let you jump in with whatever. Basically, today the Senate passed on a vote of, and now
26
I'm
to
not
12,
27 to 12. Is that right? No.
26
Um,
12.
26 to 12, Senate Bill 235, which was the back to school bill on final action. Again, kind of curious. This is the bill that says schools shall be back and offering the option of in-person full-time learning by March 26th. But the supporters continue to say there's no enforcement, there's no penalty, and so this is really just kind of a friendly nudge rather than a requirement. So that's where we are. That came through the Senate. The Senate, we expected today to debate a bill on at-risk funding and extending the sunset. It was to be the last bill. They didn't get to it. We don't know whether they've simply run out of time, whether there's problems with the bill or not. Um, and then the Senate today and House both quickly came together and passed substitute for Senate Bill 88, I believe, which creates a new $100 million authorized loan program for municipal utilities that have been hit by the power crisis, that to help them manage their customers, which could include school districts. Move very, very quickly, but it applies specifically if you get your power from a municipal utility, you would be affected by this. Scott, I think those were the big things that happened in the Senate. Oh, and then I guess they also, was it today? No, just a reminder, the Senate passed a day or two ago their emergency management bill. The House today on final action passed their version. They're very different. Those will be working their way to conference committee. So, Leah, do we want to switch over? You've been watching the House all day. What's been going on there?
Well, as you mentioned, Mark, the House passed its version of the Emergency Management Act. Lots of discussion about much more work to be done. So I think we can expect that bill to be conferenced with the Senate's bill, so there's a lot more work to be done there. The probably the most prominent education related bill that we were following was today was House Bill 2039. It was the civics test bill. Requires students to take a civics test and pass it in order to graduate from high school. We oppose this. USA, Kansas opposes it. State Board opposes it. KNEA opposes it. It did pass the on first consideration today, passed by voice vote. There were some questions mostly from Democrats, and some explanation from their side anyway, that they felt this impinged on the state board's authority over curriculum and testing. And so the chair was sounding a little bit defensive as he closed on the bill. It was Chair Stephen Hubert of the House Education Committee. As you have probably heard us say many times, he describes this as a passion of his, and he said, I'm willing to keep working on it. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but anyway, that bill will be up for final action presumably tomorrow.
And then we indicated, I think the House is still working on a gun bill dealing with reciprocal licenses.
That's
that
correct.
Has been amended. They did adopt an amendment that would allow 18-year-olds to apply for concealed carry license, I think get training. Currently, that limit is 21. We got a lot of questions today about this, and our understanding of the bill that the amendment was based on is it does not do anything to change where you're allowed to have guns. So this does not mean, well, we've got 18-year-olds so they could have concealed carry. It doesn't change the fact that you cannot carry guns into schools,
That's
regardless
right.
of whether or not this passes. So we'll, of course, continue to look more closely at it, but it does not, in our view, really change the authority local boards have around what they can allow or not allow as far as schools, despite this change in age. Guys, I guess the thing that we'll be waiting on now, as I said, the Senate indicated that they are not going to be doing any further week work this week. I presume that means that some bills will get blessed, as they say, and would still be available for work. The House tends to be a little bit stricter on that. So we'll have to see what they do. We don't yet know how much they plan to do to work tomorrow or Friday. Friday is the hard deadline. So we'll have to wait to find out whether they'll have a long general orders calendar tomorrow or simply come back and do final action, which is also possible. We have heard that House Bill 2119, the big education bill that mixes funding, private school aid, and restrictions on remote learning, is not expected to run this week, will be made exempt, but of course that's not official. Things can still change. So we'll be putting out when we see the calendar information on that. We will continue to provide you information on that bill. We're strongly urging you to talk to your House members about the parts of that bill. We've provided and will continue to provide some kind of key points about what it does and concerns we have. Guys, anything else that I'm forgetting as far as legislation that went through today or that people should be aware of?
Did you already mention Senate Bill 173 high density that they did not do it?
I did, but that's worth
Okay.
repeating. We
Yeah.
expected that today. It was supposed to be the final bill on the calendar. They passed over it. Once again, we don't know whether that means that they think there may be problems passing it or just kind of ran out of time. Always hard to tell, but they did not get to that. And that's pretty major policy and an important issue of the sunset on the high density weighting. So yeah, that was what we kind of expected would be the big floor debate in the Senate today on education, and it didn't really happen. So if nothing else, guys, again, we're not sure how much longer the House will go. We'll keep monitoring that, and when we have tomorrow's calendar, we'll be putting that out. We'll also be releasing our calendar for next week. House and Senate are not meeting at all Monday and Tuesday. There will be starting to come back for some education meetings and committee meetings and hearings in the Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Guys, am I forgetting anything else? Okay, if not, everyone, I guess stay tuned. We assume we'll have a report tomorrow if there's action. If there's a day where really nothing is happening, and that could be Friday, we may not bring you one. We would expect on Friday to have our usual update. Again, we may be a little bit flexible depending on what the calendar is.